Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's yours? How has your week been? What's everybody been up to? Hello. How is everybody doing? Just make sure that that is in fact muted. Wonderful. Hello. We should be live. Wonderful. Um, I guess I can watch the stream up from above. Sure, why not? Hello. How are we all doing? Um, let me. Ooh, you can stream to shorts. Why would you do that? Uh, ultra low latency. Uh, YouTube has changed the UI for it, so yeah, just getting used to what's going on here. Yeah, think that's fine. Yep. Wonderful. Right. Hello. That one. Sorry, YouTube changed the UI, and this is weird. I gotta get used to it. How is everybody doing? How's things? How's life? How's yours? How has your week been? I've had a busy week, funnily enough. When don't I? What have I done? So I've got a monitor reviews finished tomorrow. The Philips version of the dual refresh rate slash brain's not working. Oh, hello Ish. How you doing, man? How's things? Resolution, the dual refresh rate and resolution. So it does 4K 160 or 1080p 320. Although I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I suppose seeing as I've already tested basically this monitor in the AOC version, the U27G4R. Do you care about this whole multiple resolution thing? Because on the face of it, it seems like a really good, really cool choice, right? But then, uh, eh? I've got a monitor that does that. I just leave it in 4K and don't care about the low res, high refresh rate setting. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if it was 4K 60 and 1080p 320 or whatever, and that was all it could do, I would at least understand. But 4K 160 is more than good enough for most players, and then you could just switch it to 1080p in game if you want more performance. So the fact that switching it to 1080p on the monitor itself gives you, twice the refresh rate. I feel like for the majority of people it doesn't really matter, and for the sort of people where it might matter, like where you might care to have higher refresh rates than 160 hertz, you're not buying a 4K monitor, and you're not buying a 320 hertz IPS, instead. The marketing blurb for it makes it sound like it's the ultimate monitor, right? But when you actually stop and think about it, it just doesn't really make sense, and I'm a bit confused. However, if you basically forget that feature, those monitors are incredibly like good value, regardless of the whole switching feature. And then you add in the fact that it can also do what do you call it? Like double your refresh rate if you quarter the resolution. That sounds cool to me. Hello, Luca. How you doing, man? How's things? Good to have you. If the games struggle in 4K, I'd lower the game settings. Same. But I'm an old man. Perhaps playing better players gain from it. Maybe? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I had a fun technical challenge this week actually. I've had when I bought all of the thread and matter stuff probably like 2 years ago now, to work with Home Assistant. I bought this little 5 button battery powered smart switch. It's an OnVis HS2, right? It's thread but not matter, but I didn't think that that mattered, pun intended, because the Nanoleaf strip that I have is also thread but HomeKit instead of matter. So I thought, oh, this doesn't matter. I can, if I've got the Nanoleaf to work, this will work, right? No, didn't work. Couldn't get it to work for ages, so I just left it alone. And then yesterday, I was kind of poking at it and going, do you know what? Home Assistant come a long way, especially in like the thread and matter department. I wonder if this is something I can connect now. And it turns out that you can if you use an ESP32 as a Bluetooth dongle or proxy for Home Assistant. So if I power this ESP32, this thing acts as both Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So any devices that do discovery over Bluetooth, this thing will talk to them and do the initial setup, and then it will actually connect it to the thread network. So I have a bag of ESPs. They're mostly 8266s, so Node MCUs. So I was like, okay, I'll just plug one of these in. That's not supported for the whole Bluetooth proxy thing, so whatever. So then I grabbed an ESP32 S3 that I have. That one's fried. So then I grabbed an ESP32 C6, which does Zigbee and Wi-Fi. That one wouldn't connect to Wi-Fi. So then I found this one. It's a good thing that I have this many microcontrollers. But yeah, I got this one working, and yeah, it worked. The device commissioned itself. Well, I commissioned it, and it's now connected to the Thread network sans Bluetooth. So pretty sweet. Is the Wi-Fi only 2.5? 2.4 gigahertz. Yes. Well, so this thing connects over Wi-Fi to Home Assistant. So this basically acts as a Wi-Fi Bluetooth dongle. So instead of having to get a Bluetooth dongle, plug it into my PC over there, pass it through to the Home Assistant VM, and then attach that as a Bluetooth dongle, you basically just program this to act as a proxy, as a middleman, as a wireless Bluetooth dongle. So whenever this is powered, Home Assistant, by extension, has Bluetooth capabilities, which is really cool and really sweet. So yeah, that's what this does, and it works. But now that the little button thing is commissioned, it connects to the Thread network as a HomeKit device. So yeah, it doesn't need Bluetooth anymore. It's connected via Thread, which is sweet. Does the smart switch mean... also, hello, Simon. How you doing? Mean a wall power wart that you can set remotely via Matter rather than a network switch for Matter devices. So when I say smart switch, what I mean is like a button, a little box with buttons on it. I think they're often called scene changers. But basically it's a little battery powered box with 5 buttons that you can do, set to turn your lights on, or to put the house in alarm mode or something. I don't know. I'm trying to work out where to put it and what functions to assign to it, because I already have a couple of Philips Hue versions of those that control the lights in the living room and bedroom. So now, which I bought mostly as a replacement for that thing because I couldn't get it working. So I now have an extra 5-button little doodad to try. So yeah, I do actually have a wall wart power plug Matter one. It's the Eve smart plug. which I do use to monitor energy usage and turn off my smart display every night. Although actually, did I forget? Did I turn the little toggle off, and that's why it's not been turning itself off? Where is that? Eve time toggle. Yeah, I did. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I do use that as well as a couple of Zigbee ones. One from Inner, INNR, which doesn't report total consumption correctly. It's off by a factor of 100. And and a Samsung SmartThings one that does report correctly, but does break itself occasionally, and also doesn't report stuff like voltage and amperage. It just reports power usage. I wish Minecraft would have become a thing. Then one could use voice anywhere for such things. Well, you can. That's what Home Assistant voice does. It is a little box where you say "Okay, Nabu," and then it listens to whatever you say, and you control all of your Home Assistant entities through that. I personally don't use that very often because I just prefer tactile rather than having to remember commands. And like it's a bit of work to set it up, so yeah. But you certainly can, and Home Assistant voice is can be run fully locally, including hooking it up to an LLM if you want to chat with it or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah. I couldn't really get used to using Home Assistant all the time, as all of my smart home things required signing up to a third-party API service, Toya or Google. Ooh. What? So the thing, as I said in the enshittification video, I very specifically chose all of the devices that I've bought for my own smart home stuff to be full local control only. So my thermostat is just a Zigbee Toya Mose one. Um, my like smart TRVs are Zigbee Toya type ones. My all the temperature sensors are Akara Zigbee temperature sensors. The smart plugs I mentioned are either Matter or Zigbee. They're not connected to the internet in any way. Um, yeah, and then obviously like stuff that I've designed myself, whatever. Even the smart lights, the light panels that I got from Costco, I hacked them to use local open beacon firmware before installing them because sod having something that can connect to the internet just to turn some lights on. So yeah, 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 yeah. My issue is that Hass came after. I understand. Fair enough. I fair enough. I'm not going to argue a pointless argument because I think we both understand the benefits and drawbacks of both solutions. Um, so yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Uh, and yes, has that ish. So that LLM can make it lie and pretend I am relevant, capable, insane, and useful. Indeed. Genuinely, it does the speech to text via Whisper locally, or you can set it up to do it locally, and it's pretty easy to do locally. And then it does all the processing locally, the command processing, and then it does the text to speech via Piper, which is Home Assistant or Open Home Foundation's own uh, text to speech model code function tool. which is really good. And it does sound decently natural, which is pretty sweet. Talking of hacking things, I'm still waiting for someone to release OpenWRT for my ISP's mesh node, Linksys SPN MX57. Fair. I tend to I do want to at some point actually probably somewhat I'm gonna say somewhat soon, you know, in the next year or two, really like redo my home network setup. VLANs would be great. A managed sort of network would be great. And even just the physical hardware I want to move. I've got my two main switches on my desk here, just behind my monitor. The Ubiquiti Switch 8 PoE, and a Netgear Nighthawk that does 10 gig, as well as 8 1 gigs. Yeah. So I'd like to move those onto a little desk, or stand behind my desk, run some cabling up, and properly. My router is on the floor down there, because that's where the access point, the like BT, I can't remember what the box is called. The fiber to Ethernet adapter comes in. So yeah, food for thought there. And that would be something that I'd ONT, thank you. Something that like I'd want to put OpenSense router in as the main internal network, and just have that one be a bridge, basically. I think the downside is that the more you do, the more you complicate it, the more A, stuff can go wrong, and B, the more complicated it might potentially be. I guess you could just open all ports to on the outside router and then use the internal one, or I don't know. But yeah, food for thought. Out of my 4.9 gigabits that I pay for, the most I've been able to get is 4. I think the overhead is now KVM. Someone made it for the 56, but I flashed it and my Ethernet doesn't work due to a different PHY. My partner doesn't let me touch her network or iPad besides changing the SSID. Smart. Yeah, I think of the stuff that I am willing to mess around with, the kind of crucial to my business, as it were, stuff like internet is one that is quite low on the priority list for messing with. So yeah, we have 1 gig to the premises, but I seldom even use 300. Often just 5 to 6. But it's nice to have bursty speeds for games. Yeah, fair. I mean, at least currently anyway, gigabit, which is what I have to the property, is so fast that I don't need to think about it. And that's the ideal with most technology, is that it's so fast I don't need to think about it. I don't need to think about whether I can stream this and be watching the stream back in the YouTube window, or if I need to pause it just to make sure, you know? I could also be downloading games in the background right now if I was gonna, play something after. I don't know. And obviously for like uploading, or whatever, it's just pretty great. So I'm happy. I would have a cellular backup, but the speeds in the UK are awful. I tested every carrier and only got at most 60 meg down, but in Italy I can get 160 meg up and down over LTE with a cheap MikroTik kit. Interesting. I appreciate the clean line. Hello, Jim. Through copper before was good quality, low jitter, low interference, even though it was only 50 meg. Fair. Yeah, hello, Jim. How you doing, man? How's things? Good to have you. Ha ha ha. Oh yeah, I I have to thank Gamers Nexus for their coverage of the latency tool. Yeah, I so okay. Here's a few things. One, they bought the tool. They actually bought a response time tool as well, which for a channel of their size, let's say, they didn't have to, but they did. They insisted on paying for it and buying it like any other customer. Second, I offered sort of basically direct support, like put me in touch with whoever's going to whichever one of your writers is going to be using it, and I can give them advice, give them explain the tool, explain how it works, explain the test modes, whatever you want to do. I can I can give you as much of a hand as I can. They never took me up on that offer because they actually just did their own work. They put the effort in to work out how the tool works, how the results work out their own test methodology for it. I have not complained at all. It is so nice to see that. Because having sold probably, I don't know, a few hundred of these tools all over the world now, I can tell you that that is kind of rare. And that's, it's very nice to see. And also, that means that all of the nice things that he said about the tool weren't because, he got it for free and he feels obligated. It's because he means it. And that, means a lot. And yeah, also, if you happen to be one of the people who are waiting for me to ship a tool, I've been I had run out of tools, like PCBs. The day that they posted that video, they didn't tell me they were going to do this. Luckily, I have now soldered and assembled and flashed the bootloader on 50 more, so they're coming soon. I also just got the cord stopper toggles in the post today, so there's a very good chance that if you ordered the tool, I'm going to ship it tomorrow morning. Preferred to do it start of the week because I've had bad experiences with them losing, like parcel services losing them. But yeah, I'll see what I can do. Get them all packed. Hello, George. Hey, man, who sings? In Italy, it's great. I gamed on it. Their cellular tower is like 10x the size of ours due to not having as much fiber until recently. Fair. Does anyone know, is the Google Chromecast TV HD available to purchase anymore? The 4K model is over £100. So my understanding is that Google has killed Chromecast as a brand. They're replacing it with Google TV. So I think I have the one you're talking about, the 4K one that I bought, I don't know, a couple of years ago, or a year ago, whatever. And even then, I think it was already on its way out. So yeah, I think it's being replaced with Google TV, Android TV. Although I don't know what specific Google first party version that will be available. I'm not sure cellular will give as good an experience on games and such or live streams where it can't chunk bursts of data. That's true. Although Lucas says it's great, so there you go. Although, yeah, I mean, not that specifically, but there might also be an availability amount difference. So, yeah. Did anyone see Josh Strife Hayes and his new YouTube metric thing? Jeff Geerling did his own experiment for it too. It rings a bell, but I don't remember. So would you mind enlightening us? There's an area outside of town with no 5G painted onto their bed sheets hanging out of the window. Yeah, that's not how that works. I mean, you can build a Faraday cage if you want, but it doesn't work like that. Oh yeah, the other thing that I've been doing is I installed Bazite on laptop. I think I mentioned it last week. I've been using it a bit more. I'm actually writing a Linux version of the response time and latency tool software, at least a basic, like, get it to run and test to start with anyway, and then we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I hope that works. Apparently, back on August 10th, YouTube stopped recording views of computers. It seems to coincide with users who run adblock. TV and mobile users didn't see a massive dip in view counts. Ah, right. Interesting. I have been wondering. I'm not the sort of person who digs into the analytics a bit. But yeah, I have been a little confused, and that makes sense. I'd be interested to know if the traffic on your site spiked after Steve posted the video. It did, because I got a whole bunch of orders. I have a load of orders to ship this week. So yes, it did. I heard if you set your VPN to Albania, you don't get ads anyway. I believe that's true. And I think the number of people digitally living in Albania has increased, 1,000-fold. Enough orders for a new pulley for the S4 in stage 2. I already get in enough trouble with it anyway. I would want to do reliability mods first, and also have a second car available for when I inevitably blow it up. Yeah, we're getting a storage unit, like council-owned storage unit that's just down the end of my road, and it's a massive unit. It's like under a road bridge. It's an amazing value. It's like, I don't know, 4 cars wide by 4 cars deep, like that sort of size. It comes with power for free. Yeah, once I have some more space, I'll have a bit of a workshop. I'll have space to store broken cars, project cars, and yeah. Once we get there, I might have a chance. No, it's also only 100 quid a month. With, I think, something like 3% interest a year, like inflation a year matching whatever. So it'll be £103 a month next year, and then 100 and I don't know. I can't do maths. 107 the year after or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, so pretty sweet. Cheapest I saw was 700 a month. Only if you get a flat off the council, you can just fit a car and no power. Yeah. So the weird thing is that these like garages, because there's like 5 on each side or something. They are weirdly cheap for the amount of, like, it is. I'm very excited to be getting it. I think end of January or something, she said. So yeah. Uh, Not sure I mentioned, but I upgraded every bushing to sport or racy ones. Nice. As in poly bushes, or as in just like harder rubber? Poly bushes, nice. I mean, again, at some point I would like to. I think the S4 for me is a weird balance of like I want it to be a very fast car, but I also like absolutely love it for its practicality and comfort. I currently have my winter wheels on, which are 17s with better more sidewall basically on the tires, and they're just so much quieter and comfier, and it's just oh. So yeah, I don't know. Um, only got the one from Paraflex. They're pricey, but most of them from Strongflex in Poland. Fair enough. I actually have a Paraflex kit for my S4, and I have a spare set of rear control arms. I just have never pressed the old bushings out of them and then swapped it. Um, just not really had the energy or need. So yeah. My car is far from quiet. Even my mechanic who has an Evo and had a stage 2 RS6 said my car is so noisy. Yeah, see that's the thing. I don't really like if I want a race car, I'll build a race car. I want something that's predictable and fast, but you know, still comfortable and enjoyable to drive. So yeah. I think at some point, what I'll do is swap the intercooler on the front. There's an air to water to air intercooling system, and the front mount intercooler is undersized for the car. I mean, it's fine, but you could do with having more radiator for better cooling. And that's the first thing that everyone recommends when you add anything to this this platform. So I think I'll do that first, and then once I've done that, then I'll think about it. But also, I kind of need the cam bridges resealed properly because they are still leaking. And if you're doing the cam bridges, it's an engine out job to be able to get, or at least gearbox off job, to be able to get the timing done. And if you're doing like, then you do the timing, so that's $2.5 grand. So yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it. I want a reliable car more than anything. But yeah, if it had 100 extra horsepower, I wouldn't be mad about it. Or if it had 200 extra horsepower, I really wouldn't be mad about it. It's just if it throws a rod while I'm making that extra horsepower, that's a problem. I'm surprised with how reliable mine's been. 420 horsepower and 550 newton meters for over 3 years now. That is kind of surprising. It's the 5-cylinder, right? It's the Daza engine. Oh, it's a 4-cylinder. Damn. That's. I mean, I guess that's probably because Dazas can do 1,000 horsepower. um, Daza engines, the Audi 5-cylinder, regularly are like, I think 600 horsepower from a Daza engine is like mid, which is ridiculous. It's a hybrid Golf R GTI engine. Oh, it's the EA 888, right? Yeah, fair enough. I don't entirely know where all of the information that I somehow managed to, hold in my brain goes, but it's in there. I can tell you the engine codes for for various Audi and like van group cars. Uh, can you cast YouTube to an Amazon Fire Stick? Yes, pretty sure. Pretty sure you can. I find casting really annoying. I like the reason that I bought the Chromecast, Google TV, whatever, is actually that it came with a remote because I already had a Chromecast Ultra, whatever, like the 4K one that came with Stadia, Google Stadia. Remember that? Um, it, it was just a Chromecast. It was just I've got to use my phone to send videos, whatever, and I kind of like that my TV is a kind of like separate user experience. There's a separate account for the TV, like the sort of stuff that both my wife and I watch, rather than stuff that I just watch or she just watches. And I like that it's almost like a set-top box. Like it's just a thing I can start. I've got a little remote. I can press pause and play without having to get my phone up. But yeah. Apparently, you might need an extra app. I'm kind of surprised, like, if it has a YouTube app on it. I guess that's a good point. I don't know. I've never used an Amazon Fire Stick or anything like that, I'm afraid. I have 2 Stadia Ultimate devices, one still new in box, never opened. Oh, you're going for collector's editions. Nice. I still have the box and the controller and the Chromecast. To be fair, I should probably just put them back in the box so that they're, together. But yeah. No, I have a Stadia Founders Edition controller. I did do the flash. I flashed it to be a Bluetooth controller. I have used it on my Steam Deck ones. Yeah, so the Chromecast was just a Chromecast. The controller was the Magic, and that one did have a firmware update that you could do to make it a just standard Bluetooth controller. Which is nice. I'm glad that they did that. Yeah, I still feel a certain way about cloud gaming. Killedbygoogle.com, yeah, it's great. Google's graveyard is plentiful. Yeah. Yeah. So many companies fold and leave it unplayable or unusable. Oh, what, like the Spotify little Android thing? Yeah. I realize I can never use a controller anymore as it's not Bluetooth, but like you said, maybe someday someone will pay me 10k for it. Keep dreaming. Is it just the white one rather than the blue one? The blue controller. Like non-Founders Edition, right? I'm sure someone will have archived the firmware patch and like updating websites. So if someone does want to flash their Stadia controller or a Stadia controller they acquire later on, they probably can. But well, there you go. I'm tempted to get a new Xiaomi Android box as it has the new Google TV on it. Seems like a big step up. Well, my Chromecast, I believe, has the new Android TV or Google TV, and it is a pretty big step up, for sure. think it's Defender's Edition. Nice! Even better. Even better. I'm always suspicious of like the third-party, you know, Android TV boxes. Though they are, I mean, I'm sure if it's a Xiaomi box, that's probably fine. But all of the ones that are like 20 quid on eBay or whatever, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I haven't seen the Microsoft graveyard. Um, let's have a look. Hyper-V server, yeah. HoloLens. Oh, it will be at EOL in December of 2027. Interesting. A lot of Bing. All of the Bings. Skype, yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. Paint 3D is dead? Huh. Alpha Dog Games. Nice. Xbox Live Gold. They killed Xbox Live Gold? Damn. Oh yeah, Cortana. Yeah, dead. Windows 8.1. I mean, you could put Windows 10 on that list. If it isn't already. Yeah, Windows 10 is the top of the dead list. There you go. Sumerian. Yeah. Fun times. Internet Explorer. Yeah. Azure blockchain. There you go. That's an interesting one. I feel like Google's one is a bit more dense. Yeah, no. Tay. My Google chat and my chat page isn't showing. There we go. Clippy, yes. I have a TiVo Android stick 2. It's better than the Fire Stick. You get the cool remote. Nice. I went to an open day at Microsoft Reading to look at a 7-year apprenticeship, and they were like, look at HoloLens, you could work on this. I'm glad I didn't go for that in the end. So I did they had a PR day for people, so I went to Microsoft and I played with HoloLens and stuff. It was cool, although the field of view was so tiny. It was microscopic. You know, if your whole field of vision is almost 180 degrees, the rendered image was like, you know, a tiny little square. So yeah, Zune, yeah, fair. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I would worry about the ones with built-in piracy stream sites, but not trust them with a 10-foot barge pole. I agree. I think that's kind of what I mean. Like, there's a lot of ones that come preloaded with stuff, or you know, I mean, even just forgetting the piracy aspect. Like, if they come preloaded with stuff, that means they come preloaded with stuff, and I hope you get the implication of preloading content, aka viruses, on your home network, you know? So I've seen a few teardowns and like software breakdowns of what comes installed on them and that sort of thing, and I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know that first party spyware is much better, but you know. Google is unlikely to ransomware your, well, ransomware in a different way, I suppose, but yeah. Not sure what you mean, Ish. Interesting. I'll read it properly after the stream, but even just in the headline, that is interesting. Oh yeah, the phone is repaired. Did I turn it off? I think I did. I've still not actually sealed it yet, but the OnePlus 7T Pro that I think I posted the video about repairing is now repaired. It's done. I had to take the lower plate off and clean the fingerprint sensor and like the back side of the screen because it was not super happy, but that is now done, so I'm going to reseal this and hey presto, we'll have a working phone again. Your new OnePlus is already running 16. If yes, if you found it any better or worse than previous versions. My Nord 4 is promoting me to update now. Yes, I believe so. I think it updated, well, a couple weeks ago or something. No. I haven't noticed much of a difference. It's also like, I can't say that I was on 15 for long enough. Because I think it did Oxygen OS 15 to 16, aka Android 15 to 16, within about a week of my ownership of it. So if stuff did change, I hadn't used it enough to notice. There wasn't anything that changed, and then I was like, oh, this is new, you know. So yeah, I don't know, but it's fine for me. Yeah, I've not really noticed. Speaking of Samsung, I heard they can't even get DIMMs for their phones from their other subsidiary. Yeah, yes, yeah. I've seen those headlines. Samsung isn't allowed Samsung's own memory. Of course, we spoke about last week the insanity that is Micron killing Crucial so that they can sell to data centers that will run out of money next year. My mate was running, moaning about the RAM thing, but at the same time he has a bunch of shares in Nvidia and OpenAI. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is DDR4 still cheap? I don't think so. I think that has also gone up. And rip Crucial indeed. The whole push for AI feels very strange. Because it's all clearly a bubble, right? Like, enjoy, Chris. Enjoy Teenage Dirtbag. Yeah, the whole like AI thing is clearly a bubble financially, but like it's also clearly a like a fad, a trend, a buzzword. Like we've been putting AI and stuff for a decade now. You know, phones had AI camera tricks that were just, you know, whatever. They weren't running models and inference on the device. They were just doing standard camera tricks and calling it AI. And actually, that's one of the things that I kind of hate about my OnePlus 13. Um, it does like AI smoothing on the images, especially like if you really zoom in on something. Like if you try and take a picture of a plane that's flying over, it will AI like replace the image with just something unusable, um, like AI sharpening, and it's just horrible. And I wish that because it replaces the original photo as well. Um, but yeah, it's just a lot of like the technology clearly isn't ready, and yet there we're investing trillions in data centers, ruining ecosystems and communities and the planet, all for what exactly? um, my Pixel does an amazing job covering over shaky or wobbly hands, but it denoises snow every time it snows or rains and makes it look almost clear. Smart, but not quite where I want it. Yeah, I'd like more control. Not sure I'll go back when they decide consumers are deemed worthy to sell to again. Yeah. I'm working on a data center right now. Nah, not AI based. Nice. Um, for like, for let's say conventional data centers, which feels like a weird phrase to say. I can understand how like why they need to exist, right? Like data centers need to exist to facilitate this, but also to facilitate you posting to Reddit. I don't know, and it's also a commensurate amount of like power and energy usage and hardware requirements to number of users who are actively using it, whereas AI data centers are just GPU racks, and that is not a commensurate amount of usage. And also, as they improve the models just generally get bigger and are harder to run and are harder to even run inference on. So even when you what you call it even when you are a single user using a single query, the amount of power that that's taking just kind of goes up and up. As it like even the newer like reasoning models, when as they reason, they are just doing a whole bunch of prompts in the background, prompting itself a whole bunch of times. And so one of your prompts is 50 actual prompts to the model. Um, and that's just 50 times more power than it was 2 years ago when they weren't reasoning models and it just spit out straight answers. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm in the Caribbean, Trinidad. Management is thinking of AI. I'm in TSTT. Fair enough. AI data centers are driving up consumer electricity bills, trying to do people out of jobs they need to pay the electric for and rent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're also corrupting water supplies and doing nothing about it. And they're also using a lot of water to cool the data centers. So yeah, I believe that's meant in anger ish. If you could deal with that, that'd be great. They were saying that people waste so much compute, but just saying please and thank you to AI. Yeah, I mean, yes and no. So the thing about like prompting LLMs is that they like the way that you converse with them matters. Like how you phrase a question will give you different answers and potentially more accurate answers as well. I remember DC style GPUs are really TPUs, tensor. Still look it right. Wow. Uh, Thank you, Ish, for your valiant defending. Also, hello, Jim. How you doing, man? How's things? Uh, Remember, data cell GPUs are really TPUs or tensor specific silicon. High-end consumer GPUs may not have tensor math in the silicon. Yes, right. Trying to clarify, but yes. The tensor GPU or the data center GPUs are specific for sure. Sorry, I'm just watching Ish battle, and it's wonderful. Thank you very much, Ish. Um, oh, I love that. But yeah, the data center GPUs are kind of specific. It's not like the data centers are just like shoving 5090s in. Although the 5090s do have the like tensor cores and just a lot of general compute. But yeah, that'll be right. How do man those things? I'll read that out. I heard a rumor that the Northeast universities developed a technology that is both more inquisitive and more positive than standard. They call it YI, man. Yeah, I knew the word the word ASIC was wrong. I but I couldn't remember what the correct one was, and so I was like, APIC isn't right. There's something wrong. But yes, so for those who don't know, there are a couple of different ways to make silicon stuff. You have, oh god, my brain's gone blank again. ASICs, which are hardware specific, like design. So it is a chip that is designed to do one specific thing. Generally, when you talk about ASICs, you talk about custom design stuff rather than like standard parts. But they had them for Bitcoin. So you can get like Antminer ASICs that are like hardware that is specifically designed for the task of, in that case, crypto mining, for the best hash rate per performance. What's the FPGA? That's the word. Full programmable gate array. So FPGAs are a way to do specific chips without having to, or like specific hardware functions without having to design a chip itself. You can, what you call it? Essentially create an ASIC out of an FPGA by just writing code to rearrange the gates to do what you want. It's a very complicated thing because I've looked at FPGA development and I just cannot wrap my head around it. So, but yeah, if you're doing like custom silicon, custom chip design, whatever, that is the way to do it. You know. And then, of course, you have generalized chips like CPUs and GPUs for a general purpose compute. Mm. Field programmable gate arrays. I can't remember what I said, but that's right. I'm a little scattered, funnily enough. I mean, I always am, but perhaps more so. Oh dear. Well, Luca, you're back just in time for me to say that's pretty much it for our usual hour. So I'm gonna leave it there. I have like 7 or 8 tools to build and flash and pack and book shipping for. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Hope you all stay safe. Hope you all have fun. And yeah, these are every Thursday night at 8 p.m. UK time if you want to pop back next week. And yeah, otherwise, I'll see you then.